Hello, everybody, and welcome to Clueless Company for episode 2. I'm Chris,
I'm Steven.
I'm Gerardo.
and today we'll be jumping to hopefully a smaller amount of topics necessarily. But the first one I'd like to start with are video games, and I guess the first one we'll jump into because it's changing so much in a couple of days is Apex. I was wondering, how do you guys feel right now about at least the new character? We can do the new characters like looks and like overall kind of vibe and feel rather than the powers. So do you guys like the vibe, the new like the look and the aesthetic of the new character and hero?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely looks cool. I really like the hat. I think that brings a bit of style to his character
Yeah.
that necessarily other people don't have. Yeah, his overall vibe and his suit and everything definitely provides opportunities for cool looking skins and all that.
Like a voodoo Raiden.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a lot better looking than the other characters that we got in the
Yeah.
now. Like all the other legends, like I don't know, they feel like it's too simple.
Yeah, they don't have like a personality.
Yeah,
You know,
like this guy has
he's
a
got
vibe.
like
He's got a vibe.
Yeah, he's got a really strong vibe.
Yeah.
He really does. Like Valkyrie looks really cool. I mean, she's really decked out in like the armor of the Titan that her father died in or something. Like that's really cool. And like Revenant's like the robot. But a lot of them, especially if you don't look at the comic stuff that they keep putting out, which a lot of people don't necessarily, like then it's hard to kind of get any personality from some of the characters other than like Bangalore, military girl, like Wraith, stealth chick.
And like what Steven said, it's like you got more potential for like badass skins to come out to this guy. You know?
Yeah. So I like how flippy he is.
What do you mean by flippy?
Like, I mean, since I've been getting into the visual effects stuff, and we'll talk about that later on, but I like, it seems like it's hard to make the 3D figures do a lot of really fluid movement. And like when they showed him, he did a little like front flip roll or something, and then he like moves his arms like he's doing like, not really Naruto finger things, but he's really fluid with the movements he does.
Yeah.
And I like that was probably pretty hard to animate. And I do like that kind of attention to detail. It's like, his personality and his style of movement would be really fluid, so we have to animate it that way. Right. Rather than, they've gotten to be pretty simple in the past, with Gibraltar being like big dude, he walks heavy. Like small girl, she walk fast. And it's like for him, he was a lot more like, no, he has a style of movement that's his own. So
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely excited for what skins they can come out with for him. But I think from past skins, they're not always too crazy or too different.
They're not always the best.
Yeah,
I feel like sometimes they get a little lazy.
Yeah, or they save them for the paid event. Like, like not like the holiday events, but like the map change kind of event things or something.
I feel like Revenant has been getting like the better skins than most characters have.
Yeah.
Like Caustic has some badass skins too, but I mean, other ones are kind of lame, and they're all kind of different variations of like a preset skin.
Yeah. Do you guys have a favorite skin right now? Even if it's for a character you don't like?
Well, for me, my favorite character is Revenant. That's my main right now. It used to be Mirage and Lifeline, but now it's Revenant. I like his tack.
Yeah.
And then
shoot people with it. It's nice.
My favorite skin for him might be the Pharaoh one. He's got his kind of like a Pharaoh looking style head. I forgot what it was called, but
I don't remember that one.
It's like a teal looking with a gold.
Yeah. When Steven, I know one of your favorites looking is Crypto's, even though you don't use him.
Yeah.
But do you have any others?
Bloodhounds are always cool. His skins.
Really? This could be a controversial point for us. Then, yeah, I would disagree.
I guess I more like the color scheme of his skins.
Okay. And it is, specific. Like, I think his overall, the character design they had for him was too cloaked in jackets and things. And it ended up I think it doesn't pigeonhole them. Like, they have the Centurion outfit, right, which is totally different and like has armor and it's not thick, but it just thinks it makes me think that he's a thinner person under all the clothes, and they have to make him a chonky boy for a lot of his outfits.
Yeah.
When it's like, I wish they would do more stuff with Bloodhound. Like, I mean, even okay necessarily with mask off at one point, you know, for some of the things. But it would be interesting to see if they did that like way down the line for like an Apex Legends 2. It's like
Well, but I'm talking about like, if I'm talking about favorite skins overall for a character, I'd probably say Crypto. He has some really cool skins. I especially like the ones where they like change his little glider when he's flying. Like he has those those bird ones that actually has like feathers on his gliders when he's flying down to the map.
Oh yeah, no, that one is cool. Yeah, and yeah, I mean his movement again is kind of nice. Yeah, especially when he's flying down. Although he was a character, really enough, him like Seer, he was a character when they're coming out that I thought was going to be way better than they were.
Right.
Like when they showed him off and showed him like hacking the system and like destroying an entire map, and then like having this robot that would fly around him and he used it like a katana, and they did all this stuff kind of like Seer, right? You see all this, like all of the stuff that he does, but it ends up not really even being any of his powers, and his powers seem a lot simpler. Really enough, I'm almost getting a Crypto vibe with Seer.
Yeah, but the only thing about that is Crypto is you have to be in the drone to use his abilities. And that's the part that kind of annoying.
Oh, do you have the...
Yeah, I have a picture of this. It's called Relic of Death. It's from the Lost Treasures.
Oh, like the Mayan or Aztec. I don't want... Aztec. I don't want to get it wrong. Yeah. That one is really cool. That one is actually one of my favorites, funny enough. I was thinking about that one as one of my favorite skins, but I didn't know.
That's my favorite skin for Revenant.
Yeah, that one's a really cool one. I mean, the ninja katana one you have for Revenant is also really cool. You have a lot of the cool skins for Revenant, so you've been maining him. And Revenant has a lot of the cool skins. Like, Valkyrie does not have cool skins, and I've been maining Valkyrie right now, so that's been kind of problematic. Like, on games, so I was talking to Bella, my girlfriend, and I was complaining about some of the game space, and how, because I was going to delete and try to add some Red Dead. I wanted to play Red Dead on my screen again. Red Dead is a huge file, like a huge character file or a huge game file, and I didn't end up downloading it. I didn't want to delete the games, and it made me think, like, how, no matter how good a game is there a size necessarily for a game file that just makes it so gaudy, like you would never buy it, or you wouldn't even if it was free, you wouldn't download it. Like if a game right now, like you're playing it and there's a Red Dead Redemption 2 quality game that you could play, and it was whatever theme you want it to be, of sci-fi, space, fantasy, whatever, but it was that quality and like that intricate, but the game file took like 4 terabytes. Like, would you download that game?
I mean, for me, no. 4 terabytes is,
insane.
$400 memory.
$400 memory. What do you mean?
$400 to buy 4 terabytes. I think on Amazon you might be able to get for 80, sometimes down to 50.
For like the external storage of that size. Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, that's an expensive game, even if it's free. Because I guess that's true. Yeah, storage has it does have a price. Like that is.
Yeah, like my 2 terabyte external hard drive for my Xbox One, I think was around $200. If I remember, I went to Best Buy when I got it. It was around that price.
Yeah.
So I tack on another 200. It's already quite expensive right there for one game that's free, but obviously it's not free because you had to spend $400 just to get the storage space for it.
Right.
What about if we changed it so it wasn't a normal game? What if it was, for your reference, Sword Art Online for Steven?
Sure.
And you, Ready Player One. Did you see that movie?
Yes.
Yeah. So the whole world that they have in there of all the stuff. For reference, so a game that had everything in essence, a game where that was expansive and it was like a literal world in it. It's like, how big? Like if the storage space, we don't even get a terabyte or like a tera whatever. I forgot the little thing I was using. We'll get to physical size. Like what if the storage space for the game for this perfect VR game that you could step in and live in, and it would like take care of your vitals or whatever in the outside in the normal world, but it took the physical space of a mansion.
The physical space of a mansion, jeez.
So it's like you would walk into this mansion and it would really just be like one room. You would like walk in the front door, but this would be a whole world. Like, do you think that like that amount of space for a digital world or game is worth it?
See, as a gamer, I want to say yes, just because it's something that hasn't necessarily been done before and is worth a shot. But would I have the capital to be able to afford that?
Or, I mean, even would we have the space? I mean, even just like here's like if humans had the technology to put everyone in a digital world and they would just be fed nutrients in the real world, but in the digital world they could eat whatever they want and they taste whatever they want. It was this amazing life and it was morally perfect, however, whatever that means. It's like, would we even be able to do that? And would it be worth it, do you think, just to gut this world to an extreme for like digital space, like physically, decay physical space to create more digital space?
They're kind of like a Wall-E situation, or just
kind of. I guess their digital space was like their spaceship. They like built the space. They decayed the world and built the spaceship and left, and then stayed in the spaceship and then came back. So I guess their spaceship would be the digital space. When you put it like that, I feel like the answer is just no. It's interesting how more important day to day digital usage is getting. Like we're getting to a point pretty easily that it's questionable what is more important, a big movie, I can't remember what we called it in the last podcast, a big content creator or whatever, a big movie celebrity person, or an internet celebrity. Because right now we are having things where it's like, is Will Smith like giving clout and followers to the like the D'Amelio girls or whatever, the TikTok chicks?
Mm-hmm.
Like is he giving content and clout to them, or are they giving more subscribers and clout to him at this point? Like, who actually gains in some of these, like, when they do collaborations between a big celebrity and a small content creator, like, air quote, small, even though they have millions of followers? Like, do you actually think the content creator gains anything in that? Or is it, like, other than social clout of, like, I did a content with Will Smith? Like, I feel like I don't see, Charlie from TikTok have a huge bump in followers from doing a video with Will Smith. I don't even know if I really even see a huge bump for Will Smith.
Right.
It's like, does anyone even gain anything in that situation, or are they almost equals at this point, where they're not really gaining anything and they just have different fans and followers?
I think it's more keeping people interested with something out there, like Will Smith creating new content, in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely...
So I don't think it's an increase in viewers, but more an increase in interest.
Oh, or like an availability of content.
Yeah.
Like to maintain.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, I just don't know sometimes. Like sometimes it feels like these small, especially when weirdly enough, these small content creators will have more of an online following than the celebrity they're partnering with. And then at that point, it really does kind of just feel like, it almost feels like the individual content creator, they're not really taking pity, obviously, on the big celebrity, but in essence, they're taking a step down to be with the celebrity because they could get more views just continuously putting out their content. Like, they'll get the big surge for doing it with the celebrity, and then there'll be a bit of a downfall and decrease. But if they just keep pumping out content for like day in and day out, it seems like they could just even increase their subscriber count more than they would than if they had a big celebrity around. And it's an odd switch I feel like I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, online content is just also easier to come by.
Like I don't know, in this age where how you follow a celebrity is a social media account, and now there are celebrities that specialize in social media, it seems like that it almost inherently at some point will take over.
Right.
Which just seems odd to me, I guess. Random thoughts, I guess. All right, so I was getting into the visual effects and the CG and the digital art world, mostly just watching YouTube channels, admittedly, and I ended up finding out. What do you guys think? So there was a movie, decently big movie, that was the first movie to have a full CGI character interact with other characters around them, or like also the main secondary character continuously throughout the film. So the main time that the CG was used in a way where like an actor had to deal with a full CGI artist. What do you have any movies you think that was? Do you throw any like in your head like early movies where you're like, oh yeah, that looked really bad? Like that was probably one of the first ones.
Old movies. Let's see.
Take your time. It'll all be cut out anyways.
Old movies. Well, the only old movie that I can think of like that would be Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I mean, that's a good guess. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah. I that might have been cartoon drawn.
Right.
We'll have to look up. I mean, I'll just look it up now. I don't know if Roger Rabbit was CGI done. I feel like that's almost too early. But no, yeah, it was a time before CGI. Yeah, that would have been a good guess, though. That would have been one I would do too. But some of the other ones I thought of immediately, I think, were God, what was it? Oh, like some of the Batmans I thought of, just because superhero flicks often have CGI. It really gives you a hint, I guess, Steven. You haven't given one, but it's Halloween.
Halloween Town?
It's no. That would have been a good.
First thing that came to
That
my
would have
head.
actually been a good one though too. That one wouldn't have come soon after actually, because they had in Halloween Town they had the ghost. They had to get the ghost sweat. I don't know if that was what that was either, but that could be close too actually. Casper.
Oh, I forgot about Casper.
Yeah, Casper, the friendly ghost, the one where his uncles were all there and everything.
Right.
That was one of the full
yeah.
ones where almost in every shot the little girl had to interact with Casper throughout the entire scene, and so it was just continuous. And they had to really pair it up. It was one of the first times they tried to push CGI apparently into this main thing. That's why it was a lower budget kids film basically.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot about Casper.
Still a classic.
Jeez.
It's a great movie.
Great
I mean,
movie.
it holds up okay. No. I guess we can also talk about, since CG is the Star Wars for this one. Like, how did you guys feel? Because I don't pay as much attention to Star Wars as I feel like you do, Gerardo, at least. And even Steven probably. They changed apparently over time the CG. And they added layers to things and tried to add aliens that couldn't be put there before and things like that. And it still seems, even after all that work, which most of the work was done to the prequels. Most people still don't even like the prequels. So is CGI retouching even worth it sometimes? Especially, was it worth it for Star Wars?
Honestly, I don't remember the difference.
I mean, that might make it worth it then.
Yeah.
Admittedly.
I've never. Well, I don't even see the difference either. I didn't pay attention really to it. But I see why a lot of people don't like the prequels so much CGI and that was into it.
Yeah, there was a lot added and a lot of hard cuts. They would
Yeah.
use like archways and architecture to make like the hard cuts work, where they'd be like aliens and stuff just off screen. But I think one of the most famous ones people do make fun of for retouches for it is like have you seen the Han Solo pop? Like, in the scene where he's meeting Jabba, he gets pulled in right near the ship, and he's telling Jabba that he's going to get the money, and he walks behind Jabba, and there's a point because they didn't know how big to make Jabba, and so they had a small tail for Han Solo, and he kind of walked on it. That was the idea.
He jumps on.
Yeah, but because they CG'd it and they altered Jabba later on, they changed him. They made it so he was way taller and bigger and fatter and grosser, like they wanted him originally. So then they had Han Solo have to be raised digitally to actually step on his tail.
Gotcha.
So then it's like this really hard cut where he's like walking horizontal and then he just snaps up like a foot in the air and then snaps back down and then keeps walking. And there's some alterations they ended up doing like that to the alterations they had to do to the actual film, like the physical film, to get it to work with the digital alterations.
Gotcha.
Because admittedly, Star Wars is in a weird spot where it was really the start of they were trying to push visual effects, not even like digital art and CGI, but just visual effects and how they were shooting things and creating sizes and stuff was kind of at like an early point of a huge digital revolution. So I feel like people end up hating Star Wars 2 a lot because it's one of the few films that is getting that treatment over the years.
Like a guinea pig.
Yeah, maybe a bit like a guinea pig. I mean, yeah, George Lucas did treat it like a guinea pig for a while, but yeah. So I mean, over the years, it has been one of the few old films that constantly needs retouching, and a lot of it's. I mean, luckily, I think a lot of it's shot on real film and in ways that are easy to reproduce and upgrade. But it's, I mean, this thing was like in the 80s.
Right.
This is an old movie that like we're still expecting to have good visuals on 4K TVs or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is like, I guess it also makes it not surprising there's CGI that has to be added, because how else are we going to keep upgrading the film?
Right.
So I don't know. Like, a lot of people hate it, and I don't know as much, so it seems like there has to be something negative about it. But over time, I don't know necessarily how you would keep bringing old films back if we want them to keep being brought back.
I mean, most of my watches and rewatches of Star Wars were back when I was younger, so I didn't keep. I didn't remember details like that as much. I've been rewatched the movies a lot in more recent times, so.
And if I do rewatch them, it's only like the iconic scenes.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Do you guys ever have a problem with that? Like, you have it in your head, a movie you really want to rewatch, but then it's like you don't. It's not a hassle, but you don't want to go and rewatch all of it. Like, I have that for Avatar. Like, I have the extended, like, almost 3-hour cut of Avatar. And I love that movie. And I like to watch it with the reactive lights, that all the youngins have these days. And I like that, but it sometimes, where it's like it's not even like a length. Where it's like, I just don't want to go through all the parts.
Yeah, because those parts you remember more vividly and you don't.
Yeah, the only ones you want to watch.
Kind of rewatched it in your head while you're watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, it's almost like less worth it to go put it on. Like, I feel like every night this past week, I'm like, oh, I'll go put on Avatar. And then I never do.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. It's like Aurora said, I'll watch the clips. Even if I'm on the movie itself, I'll skip through some parts. So.
Do you guys have any movies that you either rewatch yearly or are that like your favorite holiday movies?
I mean, for holidays, it's always a classic, like, Elf and, well, now I can't think of any other Christmas movies, but you know what I mean.
Like my family does Christmas Vacation. Oh, Polar Express.
Polar Express.
You guys mentioned that last time. Yeah, Christmas Vacation and Polar Express. And Santa Claus. That's an easy one. Wait, yeah, those are easy go-tos. Yeah, do you have any favorite holiday movies for Christmas or beyond?
I mean, I like Halloween. I just watched The Nightmare Before. Well, it's Nightmare Before Christmas, even though it's not.
Yeah, you watch it on Halloween and Christmas.
Yeah, Halloween and Christmas, both basically.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be just Christmas movies. Yeah, it could be general.
Christmas. I don't really watch movies on Christmas. Like Christmas movies, at least. Like
really. You don't just have them on.
When I was a kid, we used to watch the Charlie Brown ones, and sometimes just is it Frosty?
Frosty Snowman.
Frosty Snowman, and then sometimes Rudolph.
Yeah, Rudolph. Rudolph's a great one.
Yeah. But those, like, nowadays, I don't really watch anything.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, even when we put them on for holiday movies, they're normally in the background, but
yeah, it's mostly just for the kids.
Well, don't attack me like that.
Yeah, we go to my cousin's house every year, so we just kind of plop it on the TV while we're eating and hanging around.
I think we end up. I mean, we watch them like when we start decorating. They're big decorating things for us. Like when we decorate, we'll put them on. But even then, I feel like Christmas doesn't have my favorite holiday movies. It's definitely like Halloween, The Nightmare Before Christmas, the Halloween Towns. Like I like that. They're kind of like little. They almost make them magical. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of like that feeling. The Christmas ones can get too Hallmarky.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay. Like I like Hallmark. I watch that like the Hallmark Channel every now and then, but it's not really like a big emotional like, oh yeah, I'm really getting off to this.
Yeah. I mean, in general, with rewatching movies, I don't have something I watch necessarily every year. Rather, things that kind of pop up on my feed and whatnot, like clips of movies. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that in a while. I kind of want to watch that now. Yeah, that's usually what ends up happening.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I do too. Sometimes I when I'm scrolling through my Hulu, I usually see Independence Day, the original, the first Independence movie.
Yeah.
That's the one I rewatched, but I mostly just skip to the action scenes, kind of towards like the end where the mothership is coming towards them.
That brings up a weird question to me now. How much of movies do you think are just skipped after the first watch? Like, do
I
most?
want to say like 70% of the movies kind of skipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought. I'd always felt like bad for starting to like skip movies.
It depends on the movie though. Like how much action is put into the movie versus just pure dialogue. Like
Oh, is that your barometer?
That's my
scale.
My scale.
Yeah.
Dialogue versus action.
There's some dialogue in movies that can really captivate you, though.
Yeah,
You start watching the scene and then,
admittedly, yeah, I'm gonna say I'm the opposite.
yeah,
I like action. I don't hate it. So I'm not complete opposite, but yeah, I do like dialogue. Like even for animes, like other people are like when they get highlighted as a filler episode because it's just dialogue or talking. It's like I normally end up watching those because I kind of like those episodes. It's not like they don't end up being my favorite, but I still like them.
yeah,
And open dialogue, especially depending on the movie. Christmas ones, yeah, are a special problem because they end up kind of just repeating the thing. It's like there's a problem. It's fixed with Christmas cheer.
Yeah.
There's the thing that ends up separating to me are like the music or the songs that are in them, which is why I end up liking like a Disney or Pixar Christmas movies and stuff, or even the Santa Claus starts with a song, which I still like, even though it's just a video of Santa trying to deliver gifts and then him almost getting run over by like a snowball boulder and stuff, and him out like barely getting out with his life from this house that he's almost being shot at or something.
yeah.
But it's like an interesting little Christmas like song tidbit in the beginning. I feel like that normally like makes a Christmas movie to me.
Yeah, I love Christmas songs.
Yeah.
I can listen to them year round if I have to.
Yeah, my parents have been watching a lot of Christmas in July. Maybe that's why I brought this topic up.
Well, there is one movie I could watch from beginning to end. Would be Home Alone.
Well, Home Alone's a great one, yeah.
Yeah, that's something I can watch from beginning to end, like without skipping.
Do you like any of the later ones?
I'll be honest, I haven't really watched any of the later ones. I
Yeah.
haven't really.
Do you remember the car one?
No.
Okay, that's all you should have to say. 'Cause there's one that revolves around there's these spy people who have a missile chip and they're trying to get it into the States or something, or they're trying to get to Russia. I don't know where they're trying to go. They're trying to fly it somewhere. So they put it in a toy car, and then that toy car ends up accidentally being grabbed by this little kid's like next door neighbor who takes care of him sometimes. And so she just like drops off the toy because she doesn't need it. She doesn't want it.
I might remember. It's kind of.
There's a parrot too, yeah, that follows him around stuff. But that I mean, the first one is by far the best one.
Yeah.
Just like Sandlot, another great movie.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. Which is also a holiday movie, actually, could be for 4th of July if you would like.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're just gonna count 4th of July as kind of like the holiday, it has a great 4th of July scene in it when they're looking like up and all the fireworks are going off and
when
stuff.
he hit the baseball.
Yeah, and it goes up towards
and it's
it.
Fireworks.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
that's a
God.
great scene. You've seen Sandlot, right?
I have not actually.
You've not?
Not?
Oh my
What?
god.
Yeah.
Bro.
I've just never
All
gotten
right.
around to it.
Well, this podcast did at least one thing good. If nothing else, we found out a movie Steven needs to watch. Oh my god.
Seriously?
I mean, I've seen bits in passing, but no, I haven't seen the whole
Oh
movie.
man. You need to watch it soon. Don't get too old before you watch it, or else
The
it won't make
Great
sense to you.
Bambino.
The Great Bambino.
See, that doesn't do anything to me. I don't even know what that
Oh my
is.
God.
The Sultan of Sweat.
I'm sweating right now.
You play ball like a girl.
Oh. God. That movie's so classic. I mean, I even referenced that when I took my skateboard out and I was trying to find like hole in the walls, and I called them like Sandlot spots to Bella when I was like texting her. She's like, "What are you doing out?" And I was like, "Oh, I've been like boarding around to the different like schools in there and like little communities, like trying to find a Sandlot spot or something in the area for us." And it was just like, it's like you reference that shit. It's good. It's a classic.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get around to it at some point.
And it has an anti-tobacco message at the beginning. Could have helped you earlier on. At the carnival.
It does,
yeah.
the carnival thing, yeah.
Yeah, where they all die.
God.
And when he fucking when he ends up trying to like make out with the
Oh, in the kissing booth.
in the
Oh, you're talking about in the pool?
Wendy Peppercorn or whatever her name was. Yeah.
He pretends to drown.
Yeah,
Or-
and then she like picks him. Yeah, he probably drowned a little. He's in there for a long time. Probably started to. And then yeah, she gets up and then she like starts trying to kiss him. He just like grabs her and tries to make out with her.
Yeah.
God, and that scene's done from like that scene almost made. I'm sure it wasn't the first. I don't know, it was, but it like made the narration style movie where like it tells like a good lesson thing or whatever, and at the end like they have like the main narrator be the character that you were watching type thing. Oh, it's so good. It's also good.
Yeah.
You definitely need to watch that. I can't believe you haven't seen that.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of.
That's gonna anger all the commenters.
That's the point, though.
Gosh.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of movies in the past that I haven't watched that are classics that I should have watched. And I got around to most of them over time.
Yeah.
So I'll get to Sandlot eventually.
Oh yeah, you gotta watch that one. I don't even know it's more of a classic movie than Sandlot.
Right?
Like that's like genre defining classic. Like it's amazing. Like Sandlot, it's such a good coming of age film too.
Yeah.
Which is why watch it sooner rather than later. Or else you'll be like, these kids are stupid.
It probably already will be.
Nah, you'll be like, these kids are having a great time. Even now I'm watching it in my head right now, it's like, no, these kids are like, they are having the best summer of their lives. It's amazing. Have you guys seen Heavyweights?
No.
That would be the definition of a movie that could not be made now. It was Ben Stiller as the main camp counselor at a fat camp.
Oh God.
And the idea, so it's like the thing is, kid's pudgy, whatever. Parents don't want him to be pudgy. Then they send him to fat camp. The fat camp really isn't a place where you would lose weight. It ends up being like a place you'd go to have fun. They have like cool lake things and go-karts and stuff. Until Ben Stiller's character comes in. And then he, like, there's a scene of him, like, stabbing, those big blob water lake things where someone jumps on it on one side and it shoots the other person off the other? There's an image of, like Ben Stiller, like, standing over there and his helper, like, stabbing it, going, ah! Like, and he just, like popping it over and over again. Like, they take apart all the go-karts and they make him lose weight and, like, there's, like, no food. There's, like, little clips of them trying to run after cows with weapons and stuff. And, like, like, Ben Stiller does a bunch of or a stuntman probably for Ben Stiller does a bunch of backflips in it, and Ben Stiller has to come in and he's like, it's him as the most Jim Carrey almost you can imagine. Jeez. Like high energy and like, but yeah, it's intense. Like even at one point all the kids from the camp take Ben Stiller prisoner and like lock him in a prison after like shoving him down a hole, and like it's like a good classic movie. My family quotes it a lot, but it was not done in taste, admittedly. Do you have any movies that you guys would consider like classics that like someone has to watch?
Classics.
You could even go with a group, so it'd be easier for you. So I'm putting you on the spot. Like what like Disney movie would you be like someone should really like has to watch this, like a classic Disney movie or Pixar? You could.
There's just so many at Disney that
I'll throw one out for Pixar, like fucking Toy Story.
Bugs Life.
Boom.
Bugs Life is a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
You got one that comes to your head?
I'm thinking Disney. Yes, the first thing that popped in my head was Tarzan.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The music on that one was really good.
Music on all those older Disney movies were great. Phil Collins on Tarzan,
Yeah.
Brother Bear too.
Yeah. You talked about how like music for holiday movies and Disney movies are really good. Like how important to you guys is what do they call it? Like riffing the track. What do they call it where they put the music background on the scenes? I can't remember. But how important do you think is it that last edition when like the scene's done and cut and there's like dialogue and voices and stuff and there's like that music artist on the back like for Toy Story, and it's obviously for some animated it's like extremely important.
Yeah.
And some other films like a James Bond necessarily it's like it kind of just makes the ambiance for a scene more than makes the movie. Like how important do you think music can be to a film, and how bad do you think some films would be if you just cut them out? Like do you have any in your head that aren't a musical obviously that just don't flow well? Like to me a James Bond doesn't actually work if you take out a lot of the music.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pacing in that.
Yeah, I mean, in general, music in movies and series and stuff, for me, can really elevate the emotion that they're trying to convey, and taking it out would, diminish that. Wouldn't necessarily make it bad, but definitely takes a lot of that emotion away.
Do you care about the music for some scenes? Because you even talked about earlier that like action was a big thing for you.
Yeah, for me, Star Wars has to have a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
It brings in, like you said, emotion, like fighting scenes or the iconic Obi-Wan versus Anakin. Like if you didn't have like that background music, it's just it just takes away all the emotion. It's just like a boring fight. It's just a fight.
Here's a better question. Do you think music is more important for a calm, emotional scene or a combat, energetic scene? Because I'm thinking of the difference between Luke Skywalker staring at the sunset, where he's doing absolutely nothing, versus like the lightsaber fight.
Lightsaber fights.
It's like I feel like I guess some emotional scenes do okay in silence. But combat scenes I don't think they would do great in silence.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to have some sort of music or like sound
That kind of like builds up.
that builds up the
of the fight.
pressure, and like builds up suspense as well. Like
I think it's equally important for both. Really more dependent on the movie and how important that scene is in the movie.
Have you thought about any more tech, Gerardo?
tech.
Since you were asking if there's any way we could improve this, which for anyone who doesn't bother to listen to this, we are trying very hard. So we'll see how much better this one is. But have you, because you commented that maybe you want to buy a laptop, and now after seeing your setup with the last time I hadn't, are you still thinking of trying to upgrade to something new? Or do you like your Surface Pro setup?
For like on the go, this would be perfect for me. But like, I want to be at home and game. I'd have to buy or build a PC.
Do you even want like a gaming PC or?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of games that you guys talk about that seem fun, and I've never played them because I never had a gaming PC or a gaming laptop. So
I haven't named that many. I haven't done that many.
But you have the opportunities.
Yeah.
And also like when I watch YouTube Let's Plays, there's some PC games on there, or there's like games that are for consoles, but on PC it's better because they have more modifications that you can do to them. Have more fun, like Minecraft.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's fun, but sometimes it's hard, especially for our group. I mean, again, we're supposed to have a fourth person. We're supposed to have a fourth person here today, but sometimes it's hard, especially with modded games, to get everyone on the same page, make sure everyone has everything downloaded. And PC gaming definitely has more barriers to it.
I don't necessarily care about mods unless it's a single player game. Me personally. Multiplayer games I just play as is. What was that?
Cricket sounds.
And an owl.
Yeah.
A fucking owl. Have you guys spent any time watching, because it was a big thing a while ago, so I'm very behind the loop, but the satisfying renders or videos, where they cut breads and stuff in really nice ways, or they cut spheres and it's like rolling down things and there's like music to them or whatever, or sound. Have you guys watched any of those? Or many of them?
I haven't.
Oh, no?
Not really, no. I mean, I've seen, like small shorts of, those Snapchat stories, I guess. Not the ones from that.
Yeah, just a little video clip.
Yeah, the little video clips of, like, this is satisfying or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I feel like I've been getting into those weirdly, just, again, kind of with the visual effects and CGI, but because they seem not hard to make, but it's weirdly psychological. It, like, some stuff in visual effects ends up crossing boundaries into other fields. Like, I was watching some people kind of review visual effects or videography of professional movies and other things, and they talked about how light enters is incredibly hard for people to get, and that they kind of study the light for a little bit just to understand. And there are some aspects that people get wrong, which admittedly are just things that never bothered me or I never even thought of, and it kind of made me ask if it was even worth it. Like, have you guys heard of like the nose red line?
no.
So, if you light half a face from one direction, like the right side of the face, and the left side of the face is dark, the middle line of their face will be red. And that comes from light going into the skin, but being shallow enough to come back out, that it ends up creating that color hue from your skin, so your skin ends up being red.
That's that way when you stick like a lamp on your fingertip.
Yeah, like on your fingertip or through your earlobe.
You can see through like that reddish color.
Yeah, and it adds it. And it was impressive and made me realize I noticed nothing in movies about how they were critiquing some of these bits for effects like that, where it was to the point where they were talking about how iris depth, like your eye has different depth to it, like your iris is at a different depth than some of the other part of your eye, so light reacts differently to it. And there's like all these problems, so when you're up really close, and they actually put up, speaking of Star Wars, Tarkin, old dude, yeah, right, the Grim Reaper, of him, and it was his up close shot that was newly done, and it was really, really good. They had like the red glow and all this stuff and everything, and in my head I was like, I don't think I would ever notice that. But then there were other ones like X-Men, where they had a scene where some of the kids were running towards Xavier, who was a CG face that looked awful on its own, but they didn't. The image of Xavier and his plane and helicopter were just like flat. They were flat, and there were people running through a green screen, very clearly, with no shadows beneath them, and barely any movement, running through to the helicopter, and then it would just cut. And that was professionally in the movie. And it's like, I don't understand sometimes how sometimes people will pay attention to such fine details as like light entering in, and then a pro-budget film will like just have a basic green screen attached where they don't even have an angle or distance attached to any of their stuff, and it looks legitimately like someone is running on a flat line. Like, I don't necessarily understand that.
I mean, it could be something with time constraints, maybe, where they don't.
Or in their budget as well. Like, they spend too
Sure.
much money on something.
Yeah, like they spent it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Their focus is on fixing other bigger details.
Yeah. And like that scene was kind of towards the end of the movie. So it might have been like the last like scene that they made. They just said, fuck it, let's just do it.
It was fair. Just timing at the end, just cut short.
That's a good point. Because I mean, for me, I never pay attention to things like that in the past. But now that I'm trying to get into art and start drawing myself, I pay more attention to how lighting affects the human body and anatomy and whatnot.
I think I've just been impressed this week, and I keep trying to bring it up for visual effects. I don't know. It's just an impressive amount of work that I didn't realize had to be done. And the amount of scenes that literally have nobody in them, ever. It's like all just CG created, for all, especially since we're in the superhero world now. And like that's kind of the biggest thing these days. It tends to be it tends to be used really often.
Right.
I mean, even with they talked about how, right, like 3D art as a whole being kind of applied to a whole movie was like brought back by Avatar, and the whole world that Pandora that was James Cameron made.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't. It's just interesting. Like, I mean, that one took years, and they still have 5 movies or something they're trying to make for Avatar.
Jesus.
And it's like I mean, we might be dead.
Right.
Honestly.
Like I don't know how we wouldn't be. It's just an interesting world. I mean, since we're getting into kind of the tech stuff now, it's interesting to try to learn what other people have to do and go through, I think, to produce the content that they do.
Yeah.
And especially for us, as we're trying to get this podcast going and trying to figure out how to kind of produce other content related to fan theories and anything else that we want to make, it's interesting to watch other people and just to see how much work they put in while still having energy to produce like outside YouTube content, basically, that isn't part of their day-to-day work, even if their YouTube channel is about their day-to-day work.
Right.
I think it's just kind of impressive how much effort people will put into some things. I don't know.
I mean, if you really want something, you gotta put in the work. So
Yeah, I think it's just really inspiring a little bit. Yeah. Do you guys have anything to throw in for this week?
No, not really.
No.
Boring week.
that was
Kinda
such
wanna-
a defeated.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Yeah, we'll talk more Star Wars and stuff, I guess, when our 4th person finally comes on. I guess we can kind of leave it there for now. Have a little bit shorter of a podcast today.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys all for joining us. It's been nice. It's been more casual, hopefully, for you guys, and a bit slower, I hope. I'm Chris.
I'm Steven.
I'm Gerardo.
Don't forget to subscribe and
comment,
like the video. Yeah, give us a comment, too. Especially since you really have to tell that Steven has not watched enough movies like Sandlot. So we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.